Oh, welcome to the Electric Bison. It's a podcast that I started about 47 episodes ago to talk about things that I think are important, like the Mexican War, how to get the most out of your solar panels. And now I would like to let you know that 3 episodes from now, on episode 50, we're going to celebrate Earth Day, the 54th anniversary of Earth Day. And since I'm 78, I was around for the first Earth Day in April of 1970. I was in New York City. And I'll be talking about that when we have our 51st episode. And I'll have with me as a guest a guy named Doug Balmain, who wasn't around then. He's just a young whippersnapper, but he's pretty smart. And I like talking to him. I'd like to get to know him on the podcast. He's a Wyoming fellow, and he's got some really heartfelt feelings about what we need to do over this next generation to accommodate our need for energy and at the same time care for our planet. I have behind me the 500 kV Colstrip to, well, I guess it goes out to Spokane and Seattle power line. It connects with load centers and those networks on the coast. And it was built in the 70s after Earth Day. While Earth Day was being celebrated in 1970, the companies that built the first Colstrip plants, 1 and 2, and then some of them later were involved in Colstrip 3 and 4. They were meeting first, and then they finally got their first 2 plants built, 350 megawatts apiece, coal-fired mine-mouth electricity generating plants. And then they proceeded to build 2 700 megawatt mine-mouth generating plants, so that these lines carried a ton of power, a lot of power, from Colstrip out to the load centers on the coast, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. These power lines don't look like much, but they're important. They're very, very important. And where we're located right now is where they cross what we call Boulder Hill between Helena and Butte. This is an old area where stagecoach lines used to go behind me here over the hill going down to Corrine, Utah from Helena. You know, it's a place where we're in the middle of the Boulder Batholith, which is a very deep formation of rock into which the Butte mines were drilled and blasted to bring out the millions and millions and millions of dollars of copper and zinc and gold and silver and manganese that kept our country safe during World War II. It was a very important area, and it's a huge resource. So things that were learned here over those years when that entire mining operation in Butte during the Second World War was run completely on renewable energy, hydro, from the rivers of Montana. And then as in the 70s, we began relying more on thermal power, which made it more expensive because thermal is more expensive than hydro, and it was at the margin. All the things that we've learned. And Colstrip 3 and 4, it came close to being shut down, but there was a few people hanging on for dear life. And now the mine mouth generating plants, which looked like they were going to be put in the dustbins of history, are going to be probably used to energize something we never knew about before. They were already energizing a mine, crypto mine for cryptocurrency in Butte, and now the utility that will be managing and owning the plant, Northwest Energy, has announced that it's going to contract with 2 other entities for other large server farms for artificial intelligence. And the total new load over and above what there is right now will be about 400 megawatts when it's all said and done. So that'll pretty much use up the rusty old rickety Colstrip 3 and 4. So what I'm saying here is that over my lifetime, since 1970, I've had occasion to cross paths with this transmission line and the power plants at the far eastern end of it. And I've shown you already in some of the earlier episodes of the electric Bison that I've making an effort to use distributed generation of electricity, and what I consider our loads that we can get by without. And I've argued for everybody trying to have some source of electricity at least equal to what they consider their essential loads. I mean, if you're on an iron lung, you better be sure that you know where your electricity is coming from. Anyhow, it looks to me like, over the years, it looks to me like things have changed so much. I mean, there'd be one way and then there'd be another. We're all concerned about climate change, you know, and of course, cranking up those coal plants now will put more carbon into the air, and hopefully someday we can replace those. I know that Northwest Energy has a small modular reactor plan for, I think, 2040. Maybe it'll pick up some of that load, but I suspect there'll be new load for the small modular nuclear reactor. And incidentally, in my view, one of the finest places to take care of the high-level nuclear waste from these small modular nuclear reactors will be here in the Boulder batholith, way down, you know, and copying what the Finns are doing, Finland's doing with its high-level nuclear waste repository that it's opening early next spring. So I'm mentioning this because the electric Bison got its name because I have always felt that electricity is to our society and our culture what the buffalo was to the Native American culture in this area at one time. It was absolutely essential. Everything about it was used. Well, now I'm talking with you because of electricity. We talk to each other. We do everything because of electricity. And we have to have it. We needed it for World War II, and we're definitely going to need it for whatever comes next that might be a challenge for our country and our state. So this up here on where the Colstrip line crosses the Boulder Hill, headed out for the load centers at Seattle and Portland and all that, this is where I want to announce that when we have our 51st episode, it's going to be much nicer than what you've been seeing, you know, me standing by myself jawing with you. And so sometimes hard to hear, sometimes hard to see. I think for the 51st episode, we're going to have a decent place, a decent studio with lights and good sound and a well-trained camera person. And I want you to know about that, and I'd like you to consider, if you would, it's no biggie, but I mean, it doesn't cost anything to follow the electric Bison. It's set up so you can do it for free, and that's okay with me. But if you don't mind, you might consider subscribing to the electric Bison, because I'm hoping that as we get into this whole rigmarole about how we're going to deal with our electricity requirements and also protect our planet, you'll want to be part of the chat group, and you have to be a subscriber to be part of the chat group. And I would like to get people's points of view. I'd like to get my old compadres on the Public Service Commission, Schneider, Olberg, people like that, right? Some of the old staff like Dan Elliott, and I hope Mike Lee, our economist, will be up and running after having a tree fall on him earlier this month. And then people that I really admire that are the outside linemen. Some of those people might have something to say if we look at something not in the way that we should from an electricity system perspective, and even people who work for Northwest Energy or other utilities. What's going on now, I'd like us all to talk with each other. And I'll be fair. I think I'm known to be a fair person. I just want to see if we can't develop some ideas that'll be helpful for our future. So that's the pitch. The 51st episode will be kind of a second inauguration with nice lights and nice sound. But it is the 54th anniversary of Earth Day. And the theme for this Earth Day 2025 is our planet, our power. How are we going to live on our planet and protect it and provide ourselves with the power we need for all of our essential needs? And I hope that it'll be an interesting discussion for all of you. It'll be, I think, April 22nd is the 54th Earth Day. And I hope we can do a good job for you. Anyhow, greetings from the Colstrip power transmission line in the mountains of western Montana.